was a little late today. How's everyone doing? Today's been a really crazy day for me. I have so many things going on right now that it's just a lot. So how's everyone doing? Update me on what you need help with. First and foremost, this live will be every week. Like, I don't care if my life is in chaos. I don't care if I have to do this from the car. I am committed to doing this every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. So be prepared for me to be here with you and to answer any questions that you may have, okay? Hi Darcy. So I actually was in the middle of making a smoothie, so I may finish that while we're on the live. But yeah, I was trying to make boboa. Do you guys know what boboa is? I'm like a huge fan. So there's a place near me that makes these awesome smoothies and they put boboa at the bottom. Hi. How are you, Audrey? So they put like boboa at the bottom of the smoothie, and like, not that I don't mind getting it out, but like I'm a big advocate for like making almond milk myself and stuff like that. So I like make my own like boboa smoothies. I'm such a nerd. But okay, let's talk about manifestation. Where are you guys stuck? Hi, Kristen. What are you struggling with? What are your limitations? Like, where do you feel that you're having issues? Because I feel like we all have this sometimes. Like, so something like kind of a common theme that I'm seeing, and I'm like, it's funny I'm hearing it because it's being reflected back to me. I think we all get like imposter syndrome. Like, even I have had it at times. Like, who the hell am I? Like, you know, to manifest what I want. Who the hell am I to like, you know, want the life that I want? Like, I used to get this like in the very beginning when I first started posting, like, who wants to listen to me? Like, it's like, but no, like, I'm like the queen of SPs. Like, I have so much experience. And while like, I think there are a lot of people out there that like teaching manifestation, I think that's wonderful. But unfortunately, I feel that some people lack the experience and knowledge, meaning like, it's very easy to parrot something back that you hear all the time, but are you actually implementing it into your life? Like, I'm telling you guys, like the biggest thing you have to do is you have to become it. You have to be it. You have to be the person that already has the thing. And you do that by being the person, taking the action, right? Refocusing your mind, staying on a mental diet, and just like allowing things to flow to you. Like, if you're sitting here and checking the 3D, or you're, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like really trying to convince your SP that you belong together, that's not living in the end. That's not manifesting, because you're in the wrong state. You're doing it from a state of I have to do all these things to get what I want. So let me look at some of them. Hello, time. I'm not trying to look, but sort of just being. What the fuck is going on? Okay, so I would just say, here's the thing, you're always being, right? Like, you're never not manifesting. You're always reflecting something into your reality. So whether you think you're being it or not, you're being something, right? You have an identity. You're either the you that doesn't have it or the you that does, right? So a lot of us think that like manifestation is a super complicated thing, and it's not. It's just about getting out of our stories, which are like our beliefs and our thoughts about like what's possible, and stop giving the old stories such significance. Because like, believe it or not, like we find comfort in what's familiar, right? A lot of us are too afraid to take the leap or to go deep. I've actually got my SP back in my life after no contact. Congratulations. I can't even tell you, like, that's what I love about like even my followers. Like, even if you don't coach with me, like people have such great success. That's what happens for people. Like, when a coach is teaching you properly and you actually take the time to implement it into your life and like make it a thing, you will see results. Give me 1 second. I have to turn off the boboa before it like, I don't know if you guys have never made boboa before, but like, it's really crucial you turn it off. If not, it'll burn. Get down, Chip. Give me a second. I will be right there. Oh, the timing. All right, and I lost a boboa. I just lost a bunch of boboa. Give me a second, guys. I promise I'm there. I usually don't walk away from my camera. I used to do that on TikTok a lot, but I just don't think Babo is gonna work for me, but that's okay. Like literally half the Babo, because it was so hot, I was trying to like strain it real quick and half of it fell down the sink. I'm like, I guess I'm not having Babo right now. So you're gonna watch me pour a smoothie and drink it because I'm hungry and I have this live. And like I said, it's been one of those days where I've been nonstop, like up really early today, working out. I'm kind of doing this course thing. I don't want to get into it right now on the live. If you're in it and you know, great, awesome. If you don't, it's more for like my business, but whatever. I'm back in school, taking some classes for marketing. It's been a crazy couple of days. All right, let's go back to it. And my dog's licking, hold on, some of the stuff off the floor. All right, so Chip, can you just not eat anything? Do you guys have dogs and does your dog lick anything? Like my dog is like the Hoover, like a vacuum. Like anything he sees, he thinks it's free game. Okay, so back to it. At least I got my smoothie. It's so good. Okay. Would have been better with Baboa, but that's okay. Half the Baboa is like down the sink at this point. I'll just save it for tomorrow. Okay, so congratulations to Kristen on getting her SP back after no contact. He just hasn't committed to me yet. That's a story, okay? So you're catching yourself. I'm here with you, waking you up like your big sis, okay? So I know that right now that's what you're seeing in your 3D, right? Like he doesn't want to commit, but we're not going to try to push him to commit. You're going to live in the end anytime you think of him. Just think he's already my boyfriend. When you're out together, when you're hanging out, when you're talking, just change him to like your boyfriend in your contacts in your phone. Be like, my boyfriend Daryl, or my boyfriend Dan, or my boyfriend Brian, or whoever. Wait, you said him, right? We talk every day. You said he. I just want to make sure. So that's what I need you to do. Live in the end. Like you got to drop this story that like he just hasn't committed to me yet, right? Because if you're in this belief that, oh, we're in contact now, but he just won't commit, then you're going to get more of it. Remember, we always manifest what we are, not necessarily what we want. That doesn't mean you can't switch to what you want, but you must become it first. This is what embodying states is. And when you learn to embody states, I'm telling you, shit gets a lot faster and a lot easier. I'm actually I'm doing some research on what to create a course. I'm going to create an embody state course. I'm super excited. It's going to be like how to embody the state and manifest anything. And then I will probably do an SP course after that. Because here's the truth. I can, as much as like I'm planning on doing a membership and all that, I can't do a membership on YouTube yet because I'm not there yet. But soon enough I will be. I'm like very close to being able to. It's just that I can't coach everybody. And I think like courses can be more affordable. And I think it would be a great way for me to coach you one-on-one at your own pace. So just know courses are coming and then memberships are coming too. Okay, going back to this. All right, hey Maria, nice to see you on here. Nice to see you too, Pranav. Okay, so any suggestions on fear of it not working out? Okay, so what in particular are you fearing? Like, it depends, like, because fear of it not working out could be a belief that nothing ever works out for you, or it could be a belief that relationships don't work out for you, or that you've been doing all this up until now, right? It's like almost this belief of like, I'm doing all this hard work, which is like a 3D belief, right? Like, and now I'm not being recognized. It could be that too. You may not feel like you're valued, or that like you put in enough, like you're one of those people that like no matter what you do, nothing works out for you. Do you see what I'm saying? It could be a belief about how hard things are for you, or that nothing ever works out for you. It could be that it could go so many ways. That's why I need just a little bit more info, okay? All right, yeah, I'm not saying anything to him. Just talk, okay, just live, yeah, like hang out. So Kristen, and this applies to anybody that's like manifesting their SP back. The 3D doesn't mean shit, it's a dumpster fire, okay? It really is. I made a video about this a while ago, and I think I heard someone else say it, and I thought it was funny. The 3D is trash. It really is. The 3D is old news, okay? And here's the truth. We're in and out of states all the time, right? So you might be reflecting that right now, but that doesn't mean it can't change in a second. And plus there is always a little bit of a time delay before you get what you want. So why would you expecting the 3D to show you change first before you change is like going into the mirror, right? Hating an outfit you're wearing, or hating the way your hair looks, and expecting the mirror to change your hair. If you put on an outfit, you could be, this is more of, I feel like, a girl thing. I feel like guys aren't as picky, but let's say like as a female or as a guy or as a person, you go and try on a shirt and you don't like it. And you're like, oh, this looks horrible. And you like rip it off, right? And then you're like going through your closet looking for something else. You don't ask the mirror to change. You're not like, hey mirror, I don't like this reflection. Can you change this top for me? I just use this analogy in my Twitter post because you can't ask the mirror to change. You got to change, and then the mirror changes. Do you see what I'm saying? If you want a new identity of yourself, you have to change that top to go to the different reality, to embody that state. The mirror can't do it for you. What you're seeing in the 3D is an old outfit. It's outdated. It's who you used to be. And who cares if you've been living in the end and you're still seeing shit in the 3D? And so what? Keep persisting. That's why we persist. So many of you will like be in the state, and some of you will have like so much movement, and then you're like, oh, but that means it's not movement. And then because that's an old predominant belief, it like goes back to that. But that doesn't mean you can't go back to it, okay? Here's the thing. You're gonna doubt. You're gonna have moments. You're gonna get frustrated, but it doesn't mean anything. You just gotta go back to the state. It's literally just like, it's like riding a horse, right? Or like, and like falling off, or like, think of it as like you're in quicksand. Well, I wouldn't say quicksand isn't a good analogy, but it doesn't matter what it is. Like, you just got to get back up, meaning like you just got to persist. You got to get back on the horse, as they would say, right? Like when a rider falls off. Yeah, okay. I already read that. Also navigating, chilling, and going with the flow. That's good. Without being too scared out of my mind that nothing will happen. Okay, also navigating, chilling, and going with the flow without being too scared out of my mind that nothing will happen. That's good. You change your self-concept to be in the state of having what you want. Yes, but you also must change. Guys, it's not about changing. Okay, here's another thing. I think there is a misconception too that like, and there is truth in it, but here's the thing. If you're not the version of you that can manifest it in the first place, meaning you don't have the self-concept that can support that parallel reality, you're gonna have a hard time staying in it. So you need to first embody a version of you that can jump to that reality, or that's comfortable with that reality, or that knows that reality is possible. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're trying to live in the end of being this person that has it all, you know, that's married or whatever, that's with your specific, let's just say with your specific person, but you're still in the state, self-concept of, I have to see it to believe it, nothing works for me, this is bullshit, I'm starting to doubt this, you're gonna have a hard time doing that as well, because of the current state you're in. So you gotta shift out of that first, become the version of you that knows that things are easy, that things, you know, always work out for you, and become the version of you that just is awake and alive in the dream, and then you'll have a much easier time hanging on to that state and staying in that state. Does that make sense? It's not just you being the version of you that has it, it's also being the version of you that can sustain it. Like, they kind of need to work congruently. You need to become a version of you that can sustain it, because how many people manifest their SP back or manifest a job, but then they lose it, right? Like, they're kind of teeter-tottering. You want to predominantly become that new self-concept, that person, and then you also want to live in the end. So you want to do both in conjunction. I think that's very important. Okay. All right. But there's no need to want it because you already have. That's true. And the other thing is, creation's finished. Everyone's like, oh, I'm manifesting it. You're not manifesting it. It's already done. You're just jumping into a parallel reality. You're fine tuning your energy. I know like some people don't like this word, but the truth is it's real. Your vibration, your frequency is what puts you in that reality, right? Like it's what emits what you see. So you need to adjust to being that person and then it comes. Do you see what I'm saying? But yes, you're right. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to do because it's already done. It's already done. Like the hard part is done. And the easy part is just tuning into it. But people think like, oh, I have to completely change everything about myself. I have to heal more. I have to fix everything. I can't even tell you how many people come to me and they're like, oh, I need to fix myself. Or I'm going to go do this to make myself better. I'm going to go do another ayahuasca retreat. And I get it. When you have this ideology that like something's wrong with you, you're going to keep looking outside of yourself. Because I was guilty of this years ago too. Like I went and did ayahuasca. I'm not saying that everybody does it for that reason. It's very different if you're going just for the experience of it or just to have like a, you know, like I would say like a, I don't want to say transcendental or transcendental. I forget what that word is called, but, or just have a mystical experience. That's one thing. But I know I can have a mystical experience with meditation. So I prefer that route versus ayahuasca. And I'm not dumping on anyone that does that. But think about it. Like, you don't need to change anything other than your perception of yourself. If you can just become the version of you that's whole and complete and perfect right now, the version of you that has it now, like the version of you that's whole and complete and knows that there's nothing wrong with you, and the version of you that knows that everything is easy and understands these concepts doesn't need those other things. Because in thinking you need a course to fix yourself, or in thinking you need to do this to heal, then you're believing you're not healed. Then you're believing that you're broken. You're believing you're not whole and complete. Do you guys see what I'm saying with that? Because I feel like a lot of people struggle with that as well. I can tell y'all that circumstances don't matter. They really don't. I used to never believe that. I get that. Yeah, absolutely. I think at some point we all thought that, right? Like we've all struggled with that belief. Me as a kid, to some extent, like I kind of always had this like Mary Poppins kind of ideology of life, like the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, like Dorothy, all that stuff, like really cemented into me that like anything was possible. Like if you think about it, think of Dorothy. All she had to do was like click her little heels, right? And she was off to Oz. And when she did that to go home, that's how realities are, right? Like I forgot what the saying was, but it's like, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And she went home, right? And she ended up in Oz. Like, it's that crazy. Our realities can shift that insanely. I'm not saying, well, I guess you could create a world like Oz if you really wanted to, but that's a conversation in itself. Okay. Can't have a pedicure without my dog around. Huh? Okay, not sure what that's about. So happy for you, Kristen. We need to get you more subs and views. I know, here's the truth. It's kind of my fault, I feel like, because I fall off the wagon a little bit. I wasn't consistent, and this is like my second live after being at Dr. Joe. It was just so hard to be consistent. And then the other thing with YouTube, I was at the Dr. Joe event, so it was hard to make long form content, and then I got a little lazy, but that's all gonna change. I'm planning on posting at least 2 to 3 long form content regularly. And then I think me showing up, like when I kind of have these little sabbaticals. But the truth is, when you're in social media and you're like constantly posting, it can get, I don't want to say overwhelming is not the right word, but sometimes it gets a little draining and you need a break. So like, I want to do it at a pace where I don't get drained, but I definitely need to manifest that for myself too. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, I've stopped looking at my 3D. Once you see your manifestation start playing out, states are so much easier. Yeah, of course, because here's the thing. When you're thinking from the old thinking of like, I gotta keep working at this, I gotta keep texting them, I gotta keep convincing them, that's like 3D thinking. I have to convince them. You ain't gotta convince shit, not the person that wants to be with you. The SP that already is with you, you don't have to convince because they're already madly in love with you and don't want to be with anyone else. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Like SP. Just dying alone. Thank you. So happy for you, Kristen. I agree, Kristen. The 3D doesn't, let me see what it says. Everything is easy and effortless. I would say something else, but it's not PG-13. You're fine. I literally could care less. We're all adults here, so it does not matter. At least I know. I used to love your older videos when you were so cutthroat and brutal because I got the message across. Here's the thing. There were times where I know a little bit, I wouldn't even say rude, but like I was a bit abrupt. Like, listen, this is how it is. Because I didn't know how else to get you guys into the state or to like get you to listen. Because there's so many people out there, like, you can't be monotone when you're a coach. You can't be like, I've seen coaches that are wonderful, meaning like they have good knowledge, but they're just like so monotone and so like, hello. Like, no one wants to listen to that. You know what I mean? I would fall asleep. There's even mentors. Here's the thing, even coaches need coaches sometimes, right? Like there's even coaches that I follow, like some of them, I like listening to them once in a while in the background or just like, you know, reiterating, like I would say they're at a more higher conscious of level of existence. They're like super advanced. And I like listening to them on occasion because I like hearing their perspective. But like if they're very like, you know, you need tonality when you speak. You need someone who like phonetically like, you know, clicks on the certain words or accentuates stuff, or you're just gonna be bored as hell. Not that that's exactly what you said, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't say brutal, I would say a little bit blunt. That's not for everyone though. Like, I'm not gonna resonate for everybody, and that's okay. Like, do I swear? Yes. Do I sometimes am like, seriously? Like, bullshit? Yeah, because you need to get out of your own damn way. And some of you, and here's the thing, I wouldn't say I'm tougher on people that I've known longer, but there are some followers that I've known for a while, meaning, right, like, they're writing the same shit all the time, and you're like, come on, dude, you know better than that. Like, how many times have I been down this road? And the thing is, let's be honest, Abdullah slammed the door on fucking Neville. How many times? Because he wanted him to get in the state. It comes from a place of love. I never degrade anyone or like make you feel small. Like, that's never my intention. I'll just be like, come on, wake up, like, stop it. Like, you know better. That kind of attitude, you know, like getting you to, it's kind of like, I would say that the commonality, like, because you're correcting someone, right? To get them to wake up. I'm correcting you so you can get back on track. It's like a, you know, when like a train track falls off the tracks, I'm getting you back on the reality you want. Like, come on, we got this. Move it over. I would say that's probably more my thinking too. But thank you though. The 3D does not matter. What do you think of people struggle the most with when they're manifesting an SP? That's a good question. Wow. I think the number one thing is forgetting that they're a reflection. Meaning a lot of people, two things that people struggle with the most, I think, in my opinion, is the fact that they think that they have a say, the reflection, right? Meaning they're like, they have this whole story, like, oh, they're stubborn, or they're a player, or she's like this, or he's like that. Like, they have a whole story about their personality and the reasons why they can't conform, right? So, and then they'll kind of unintentionally kind of like argue with me. I don't want to say argue, but let's say I'm in a coaching session, because I never argue with anyone, and I'm telling them about their SP, and then they'll be like, but they're stubborn, but they need time to heal. And I look at them and I'm like, but isn't there a reality where they're already healed? And they look at me and they're like, yeah, you're right. Right? People get so caught up in the personality of the person that they're manifesting, thinking that it's permanent, I would say is the number one thing that I've noticed. The second thing is thinking that they need to change them, when in reality they need to change themselves. That's another thing that people struggle with. And stalking the 3D is the other thing that people do a lot. And then that usually leads to third parties, and that leads to no change, meaning like continually being blocked or continually not hearing from them or not running into them or getting what they want, right? So that is probably, I think, the three things where I see people struggle the most. Oh my God, that just clicked for me. Thank you. You're welcome. Everything already exists. Just match with it. Exactly. Okay, Emma. Do you subscribe to the belief that being ghosted or not prioritized by someone means you are not prioritizing yourself and that you are ghosting yourself? In essence, yes. Because think about it. Are you really showing up for yourself? So it could be a combination of one or two things, right? Let's be really honest here, because there's two components to what you're manifesting. It's what you believe about yourself, and then it's also what you believe about relationships, what you believe about that sex that you're like, the person that you're manifesting, right? Whether they're transgender, whether they're female, male, or, they just identify as a person, or maybe they're non-binary. It honestly doesn't matter. Whatever you think about the person you're manifesting, right? Your beliefs about who they are as a person, right? What you believe about them, like about their culture maybe, and what you believe about relationships. That plays a role as well. And then what you believe about yourself, right? Because you might have better relationships at work or with your family, but not in love, because you might think you're unlucky in love. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to like self-concept and what you think about yourself. Because the truth is, this all kind of blends into different areas of your life. Like, you'll notice that, let's say you're a female and you have not poor beliefs about men and relationships. You're going to see that bleed into family. You're going to see that bleed into friends, and you're going to see that bleed into like coworker relationships, right? Bosses, maybe a supervisor, or maybe someone, a subordinate, someone underneath you being, maybe you have a belief that, I'm not saying that men are this way, but maybe in your reality, you've experienced where you feel disrespected by males. Okay, we're just saying hypothetically. You're going to experience that until you change that belief about men as well. But then you are also the person that can be disrespected. Do you see what I mean? You're not the person that's respected. Whereas you might be respected by females. It kind of depends. I wouldn't say it's a one and done kind of thing. You really need to look at what your stories are, because the truth is, you've been yourself the longest, right? Like on a coaching call, usually I can identify when I'm talking to someone, and I can help redirect their story, and I can help them see things differently. Absolutely. Because I've been doing this now, like on a heavy level for over 2 years. So you coach enough people, you know what to look for, and you know what their triggers are, and what their limiting beliefs are. Actually, it's a little bit of both, but okay. Let's look at this. Snow you. You asked if your dog eats everything. I said I can't do a pedicure with my dog around. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I got so confused by that. Because she eats everything, drinks my shower water too. Poor baby. We gotta change those beliefs about your dog. You know what? I gotta change my belief about my dog too. But sometimes he picky. Like I gave him, what did I give him today? Like gave him something and he like didn't eat it. Oh, apple. Usually he likes the crunchy taste. Like I'll be eating an apple and sometimes I'll cut off like a side of it and give it to him after I've cleaned it. And today he was just like not having it. But usually this dog eats everything. But we're gonna believe he only eats things that are good for him and doesn't eat things that don't. Because that's a belief, right? See, I even have stories about my dog where I have to be like, no, Maria, we're not accepting that anymore. It's like you said on your podcast, 80% is just showing up. 80% is just showing up. It is. Like, how is it that some people, I've heard this saying too, there are people like content creators, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, in different genres, right? Whether it's manifestation, health, whatever. And some of them are okay and some are phenomenal, right? You have the phenomenal people sometimes only post here and there, and then they don't take off. But maybe the mediocre people, the people are semi-okay, post every day and they're consistent, right? They're living in the end, and then boom, they rock it. They have like 1 million followers. And you see that person and you might be like, man, they made it. Like, I know way more than them. Not that you're like, you should compare yourself to other people, but you can be like, wow, like I could be exponential. You know what I mean? There's people that know half the knowledge you have or a quarter of the knowledge and are doing what you do and are successful at it. Of course you can like be 10 times better. You know what I mean? Like I've had people come to me, even friends or like, people I know, and they're like, Maria, I don't get it. Like clients sometimes, I don't get it. My life's been shit. Like I know so many people that are in shitty, they're not that great at people, but they have amazing relationships. And it's like, well, imagine what you can do. You know what I mean? It's not that you should think from that perspective, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it is just showing up for yourself. Becoming the new version of yourself is just showing up for yourself. It is. That's all it is. It's about choosing something different and not wanting the old story to carry over. I wouldn't even say the past, because if I said that, then you would think that your past affects you. It doesn't. It only affects you if you think it does. We are never manifesting linearly. We are manifesting from the now, meaning the past and the future don't really matter, and your past doesn't matter. It's all right now. Everything's happening now. The past is happening now. The future is happening now. Everything is happening now and already exists. Some of you like the podcast. I should get back and do those. I haven't done them in so long. Okay. So you've been having trouble navigating the dating scene while manifesting. Okay. I actually don't want to go out of my way, but your girl needs, your girl has needs, you know. I feel that. I tell people all the time. I have people tell me, but I'm manifesting my specific person back. Does that mean I can't have sex or date? Hell yeah, you can. Who said you can't? Like, you know how many times I've dated other people, been in like straight up relationships, still manifesting the other person, the phone still rang? You're gonna tell me that gets in the way? Please, no. The only thing that gets in the way is your beliefs. It's when you can finally I don't want to say be at peace with it, but when you can finally let go of that resistance, boop, it comes right in. Especially when that's 51% of the time your predominant focus, it'll just happen. And sometimes us dating someone else allows us to kind of relax a bit more into it. That's why sometimes when people are dating other people, that's when their people come back, because they don't really know how to drop the resistance. I'm not saying you have to date other people to get them back. Sorry, I'm at work now, sneaking around to write questions. You're fine. I know what you mean. I like that approach. I see the Greek coming out. I have my Greek moments. I do have a lot more, I would say a lot more character than most people. There are other coaches who are like me. They have a little bit of a little bit more spice to them in a good way, right? There are some coaches that know, they have something, that little spice, that little, it's not my word, but I've heard Kim say it a lot, zhuzh, right? Kim's got a zhuzh. Tom Caron from Be Something Wonderful, he's got a zhuzh. Even Dylan James has got a little fiery zhuzh to him too. And I do too. We're all different individuals, and we all explain this from our own perspective. And I think everybody does, and I think all those coaches do a wonderful job on their channels. So if SP said he's bad at communicating, what does that say about me? Number one, you probably don't believe that people prioritize you. Think about it. Here's the thing, patterns repeat, okay? So that's probably in your self-concept somewhere. Or you might just think he's a bad communicator. That could be just the issue. It could be both, or it could just be the one thing. Or you could just believe that maybe men are bad communicators. I don't know. Maybe your whole life you've been told that men don't speak their feelings and they're not good at communicating, right? That alone could create that. But if SP's telling you that, you have a belief that they're that. So how do you change something? Here's something I want to ask you guys. So I want you to kind of interact with me, to kind of get you to click. And I know when this is new, it can be a little bit hard. If you truly understand that everything in your reality is just a story, and you have a story that your SP is bad at communication, what is the opposite of that? They're great at communication. They're always texting me. And yes, that could mean that people don't prioritize you. The only person that could really answer that for you is you. Do you feel like you're not prioritized? Do you feel like people don't go out of their way for you? Or do you feel like people sometimes ignore you? I would say that's where it would probably come from. Maybe not those specific beliefs, but something to that extent. Do you know anyone who's successfully manifested acne away? Me? I had really bad acne when I was younger. I had acne until a couple of years ago. I have no acne now. I would tell you to use tea tree oil, but that's a belief in itself. You need to start imagining yourself with clear skin. when you look in the mirror, you need to see your face like completely glowing. Or you can just imagine or just affirm or have an inner conversation like, wow, like, oh my God, I did it. Like, I manifested the clear skin I've always wanted. Like, I'm glowing, I'm gorgeous, and like my face is just flawless, right? Like, that alone implies it. There's different ways you can do it, but yes, many people have done it. I've heard so many success stories. Okay, so don't let that bother you. What's possible for others is possible for you. I think that is what people forget. Listen, if you hear a success story, don't be like, oh man, they got what they wanted and I didn't. No, look at them as like, be like, that's what's effing possible. Oh my God, that's my sign. Like if it's about if it's about another person getting their SP, but that's it. That's my sign. That's my sign that I'm in the state. It's done. Even if you're not in the state, who gives a shit? Just believing that can put you in the state. Do you see what I'm saying? It's whatever you think. Just start believing that everything is working for you because it really is. Think about it. How the hell would you find out about law of assumption if things were not working for you? You would have never found me as a coach. You would have never found Neville Goddard. There's a saying, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. You were just ready. Solely, you knew there was something more and you went searching and then you found something. Something led you here. I don't know who led you here, but something led you here. And even if you think you're making the wrong choice, just start believing every choice I make is the best choice. But don't make choices from anxiety or trying to control or trying to manipulate. Try to make choices from like your intuition, like what comes naturally to you. Do you see what I'm saying? Instead of like, a lot of people try to make choices from like, oh, if I do this, I'll get this. You'll never know when your manifestation is coming to you. And plus, your manifestation will always find you. Always. I've never had to go looking for my manifestations. They always come to me. So this whole idea, I got to check the 3D, I got to look for what? Then you're not in this state. I'm sorry, you're just not. And that will knock you out of the state. Even if you've been living in the end, like that's probably one of the worst things you can do for yourself. Checking the 3D to see where it is, or stalking people, or stalking people's houses, or driving past them, or I don't know, staring at your phone 10 times a day, or checking your email. Like that implies you don't have it. If you're doing it a lot, then you're implying that more. Like I don't, because the version of you that doesn't have it, right, does that. The insecure version of you, the version of you that has them or has the thing, is secure, is calm, is relaxed. And if you don't know how to switch between those two, then you need to change your predominant self-concept. You need to embody like a new network of like new predominant states. States, we fall back to familiar states because it's what we know. Does that make sense? It's like what's familiar to us. And sometimes like embodying a new state that's not familiar is a little scary and it's a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. You come back at it and you come back at it. It's just like, imagine putting on a pair of shorts that don't fit you, okay? Like, let's say you want to wear these little tidy, think of it as like working out, okay? Let's say you have this perfect, I don't know, if you're a guy, who cares? It could be like the perfect dress, the perfect pair of shorts, or the perfect little skirt, or the perfect suit, right? It could literally be anything. Imagine your ideal outfit, okay? And imagine your state like your weight, okay? At first, it's gonna be a little tug and tight. Let's say you've gained like 20 pounds. Hypothetically, you're not in the right state, right? You've gained the weight. But the more you go at it, like the same way you would when you work out, right? You work out, the weight falls off. You put on the shorts, you put on the dress, you put on the suit. Oh, it's not, you know what? It's actually not as tight. There's a little bit extra room the next time you try it on. Oh, wow, like it's more form-fitting now. And eventually it becomes perfect and then you're in it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how manifestation is. The shorts aren't always gonna fit, right? You gotta wiggle them in, and eventually your thighs or your legs or your body will conform to it. That's what 3D reality is like too. You keep going back at the state, you'll have the perfect outfit, even though it may have not even gone past your damn thighs. Do you see what I'm saying? How many people have done that? You think people lose weight because they work out every day? No, it's their belief. They believe that working out is going to get them the result, right? So eventually they're able to wiggle up those jeans, or they're able to put on that dress or that suit and look like hot shit. Because they knew that if they believed, not if they knew, they embodied the state by working out, by eating right, and then they eventually got to their end result, right? That's exactly what manifesting is like. It's like losing weight and getting into your ideal outfit. It's the same thing. Except when you know you're manifesting, you may not necessarily have to work out and eat right, right? Like a lot of people lose weight without even doing those things. There was a success story. I mean, it wasn't mine, so I can't take credit for it, but I believe it. Like Sammy Ingram's, one of her followers, I think like didn't like the fact that she hadn't lost weight and she woke up 30 pounds lighter. You know how many times I've like noticed things different, things not there, people being different ages? Like a friend of mine recently, I don't even know when this happened, but it's like an acquaintance friend. I remember her birthday being in September. I remember celebrating her birthday in September. Recently, I saw something, her posting something that she's born in November or some shit. And I was like, wait, what? Huh? I've literally remembered people being a certain age, meaning like maybe they're 35 or 36 or 40, who knows, doesn't matter. And then I find out they're like a year younger, 2 years older. And I'm like, what? It's because I jumped to a parallel reality. You know how many times I've looked at the time and I don't even realize I'm telling you, you're going to be in and out of different states, and not everything is going to be the same. Some things are going to be a little different. You're going to be like, I don't remember that Wendy's being there a week ago. Like you might be driving home and you might notice there's a Wendy's now 2 blocks away from your house. And you're like, that Wendy wasn't there recently. And then you find out the Wendy's has been there for a year. And you're like, what? You mean that's happened to me? That is confirmation that you're in a parallel reality. That happens all the time. It's almost like the Mandela effect. Is that what it's called? The Nelson Mandela effect? I forget. Okay, let me look up here because there are quite a couple comments. Okay, let me look. Exactly, it's your sign, it's happening. Exactly, so just trust that everything's working in your favor, and it is anyway. So just start believing it. Okay, if you're holding on to your desire too much, does it create resistance? Okay, so it depends the energy. Okay, holding on to your desire too much, right? Think about it. Have you ever heard of the analogy that like, you know, sand? You guys know what, you've all been to the beach, right? Or you've played with sand at some point. I don't know if you've all been to the beach, but most people have. Some people have not. When you pick up sand, whether you're playing with it or you're at the beach touching it, if you hold on to sand too tightly, what happens? It falls out. It's like the perfect analogy, but when you open your hand up, it stays there. You can't hold too grippily, too tight. Your statement alone, right? Like if I'm holding on to my desire too much already implies you don't have it. So that won't allow you to get what you want. Do you see what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to hold on to something. Like let's imagine, okay, this is Chip's toy, but we're gonna go with it. If I squeeze too tightly, he bounces too. If I squeeze too tightly, we're saying hypothetically, let's say this little guy had a breath. Would he be able to breathe if I'm holding on this tightly? No. But if I let go, he could breathe, right? Like he can make a squeaky sound. I like accidentally took him out of this. I always have to fix this damn squeaky too. So, okay. I know that was kind of like a goofy analogy, and now Chip wants it. If I squeeze too tightly, the bear can't make noise. But if I just lightly squeeze, he makes noise, and now Chip wants the toy. But do you see what I'm saying? It's in the state of, you gotta think to yourself, would the version of me that has what I want being holding on so tightly for dear life? No, they would not be. The version of you doesn't think twice about it because the version of you that has it is confident and secure. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense, Emma? So how do you apply this? Like if you want a new car, shouldn't you look at cars? You can. That doesn't mean you can't look at a car. Here's the thing. You mean if you're imagining having the ideal car? It depends. Are you like imagining buying the perfect car? Let's say the perfect car is like an Alfa Romeo. I don't even know if those cars are popular anymore. Or like a Tesla. Your dream car is a blue Tesla SUV. I don't even know much about Teslas, nor do I care. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, right? You imagine yourself driving the Tesla every time you're driving your car. Maybe you have like a 98 Toyota Camry. They're real reliable cars, by the way, but regardless of the situation, you would just imagine yourself driving that car. That doesn't mean you wouldn't go look for a car ever. The bridge of incidents and the how, we don't know. You're just going to live in the end. Anytime you think of it, or anytime you're driving your car, you could just imagine you're driving the Tesla or the Mercedes or whatever car you want to manifest. Do you see what I'm saying? And yeah, sure, at some point you might go shopping for that car. You might even drive past someone's house that has a sign in the, let's say you want the car at a specific price, right? Going to the dealership isn't bad, right? Like if you get in, but it should be something normal and natural. You shouldn't like be on your phone 24/7 looking at, Teslas. That's not you live in the end, no. But let's say you're on your way to work in your Camry, right? In your 98 Camry, and you're imagining having your Tesla or your Mercedes and you're like feeling good. Maybe while you're driving to work, you see a for sale sign in a Tesla. And you're like, oh, that's the exact color I want. And there were only 100 of those made last year. So you stop I don't know if people still put signs in their cars, but people used to. And you put you write down the number, right? And you pull over and you call them on your way to work on Bluetooth. You're like, hi, I'm calling about the blue Tesla. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, I was just wondering how much it was. And let's say you were imagining you wanted it for $12,000, not a dollar more, but those go for 28 grand. We're saying hypothetically. And the person's like, yeah, it's kind of a sad story. We're just making something up. I don't want to make it too tragic, but yeah, my brother-in-law had to move out of state really quickly. So we're looking to sell the car ASAP. Right. And they might be like, the going price for it is, I don't know, 15 grand. And you're like, oh, that's severely underpriced. And then you're like, maybe I can negotiate to get it for 12,000 or whatever I said originally, right? I don't remember. I'm having one of those brain farts days. And maybe you tell them, well, I'd be willing to take it for like 10. You negotiate a little bit. Maybe that's what your instinct's telling you to do. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, but we won't drop it below 13. And you're like, I'd go for 10.5. And maybe the person's like, you know what? My brother-in-law, if you could pay cash, we'll give it to you for 12. And maybe the brother-in-law is on the other side of the phone. And you're like, you know what? I can make that work. Maybe you've got 20 grand in the bank. I don't know what your savings is. And then you end up getting the $28,000 car for 12,000 because their brother-in-law had to move suddenly and just needed cash. You know what I mean? Like things like that happen all the time. People will move in your reality to make things happen. So you don't know the how. Who cares about the how? Don't even worry about the how. But if you get inspired to go to a dealership, I'm not telling you not to go to a dealership. And yes, when you're looking for a new car, on occasion you're going to look, but you're not going to look 500 times a day. Some of y'all will be like, oh, I want a new house. I'm going to look 500 times a day. Get my house. No, that's not you in the state of having it. The you that has it might check, you might look at house listings, but you're going to do it when you're inspired or when it feels natural. Don't do it when it's forced. That's not inspired action. Inspired action happens when you don't even know it, honestly, half the time, or it feels really good. It's one or the other. All right. Emma, once you believe you have it, you won't need to desire it too much. That's a good point. Pranav. What's your favorite books about manifestation? Ooh, there's lots of them. Can I be really honest? It depends on where you're at in the journey. If you're newer, The Law and the Promise is really good if you're new to Neville. Or Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life and How to Play It, I think it's called. The Power of the Spoken Word is my favorite book out of all of them. I haven't listened to it in a while. The Magic Book, which is a Law of Attraction book, it's actually a gratitude book, is one of my favorites. Till this day. Since that book came out 10 or 11 years ago, I still love it. I go back to it every once in a while and I'll do the journaling exercises. I think it's a great book to help you get in the state and help you get in a happier state and live more from a more grateful state, which implies you have things. Remember, following your bliss is really important on this journey too. People underestimate that. Not meaning you're not going to have bad moments, not meaning you're not going to have bad days or off seconds, but remember, when you feel shitty, you just feel it, you allow it, and then you let it go, and then you get back into the state. And then you go about your day. You're not going to sit here and visualize from the moment you wake up until the moment you go back to bed, You gotta feed yourself. Some of y'all have kids. Some of you are in school. Some of you have bills to pay. I mean, you're gonna live your normal life. You know what I mean? And it's okay, like even if you're starting a business, to still have a job. And then maybe when I've seen a lot of people do this, like when your job gets profitable enough, you can quit your full-time job, right? Like everyone does it differently because it's based off your beliefs. Oh, you like the sand analogy? Well, it's true, right? If you hold on to sand too tightly, it grips through your fingers, like it won't stay. I like that squeaky. Yeah, so did Chip. He played with it for like 2 seconds. He likes this one too. Let's see if he plays with it. I shouldn't have done that. I just realized after I did that probably looked a little inappropriate. But this toy makes that noise. And anytime anything makes like a noise, like, he likes this one too. It's one of his favorites. You want your little monkey? No? Okay. Guess not. All right. Let's see. I most the Alfa Romeo. Aw, thank you, Pranav. Okay, thanks for the car explanation. You're welcome. I hope that helped. The Game of Life and How to Play It is one of my favorite books. It's a great book. Hi, Floor. Oh my God, it's been forever. You know what? I'm gonna do a live probably on TikTok this week. I'm probably gonna announce it. I'm thinking about doing this weekend. I will announce it tomorrow. I will be doing more lives. I plan on doing one on Instagram. I haven't done one on Instagram in a while. But that toy is pretty funny, isn't it? Okay. That is a great book, Floor. Oh my God, when's the last time it's been a while. I haven't seen you since Facebook. Hi, Mamacita. Nice to see you. Yeah, if you don't know, I do the lives every week. I'm trying to be better about reminding you guys every Monday because I feel like people forget. Manifest Mondays with Maria, right? Like, couldn't be better than that. What's an LOA book that helps with states? I mean, people think the power of awareness is like that, but Neville, sometimes I feel like people get really confused on it. There's not a book on states. It's kind of like, I feel like Neville talks about states, but I'm trying to think of which one of his books. Maybe Your Faith is Your Fortune. The power of awareness, I would say, is the best thing, but there's not one that really tells you how to embody it. Like, you learn this with time and from like learning, like, I didn't just learn this from Neville. I learned this from like different other people that talk about manifestation. It wasn't just him. Like, I've heard like Eckhart Tolle in the past. I've heard Tony Robbins. I've heard, there's a lot of people that, but they all pretty much say the same thing. You know what I mean? That's a good question. I'll try to think about if there's a book that's really good about that. But remember, you got to do what gets you into a state isn't going to be necessarily the same thing for someone else. It's using a technique to help you stay there when you think about it, and then you drop it. You don't have to continually stay in the state all the time. You'll eventually become it. You know how many times I've manifested things where I'll be in the middle of chaos or something I don't like, and I'll just periodically imagine like me being the opposite person, and it still happens. You don't have to be in the state all the time. It's just like, you gotta like correct it. You know, like there's been times where I've been really like, remember there was a point where I had really bad vertigo. The details of it doesn't really matter at this point, but it was something that felt like it was never gonna go away. It was kind of scary. And this happened when I knew Neville, thank God. So I was able to manifest health really fast. I remember that I just kept imagining just being the old me, like, oh, I'm perfectly healthy, everything's okay. And it like stopped after like a month or two. It was a symptom I had with some other stuff going on, but I got rid of it. It was a little scary, but I was able to correct it. You can change anything. So how was our affirming game for peace? That's a great question. How did that go for everybody? I need to do longer lives, I think, too. So tonight I'm going to try what time is it? It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to stay on with you guys a little bit longer, but then I want to run some errands. But it's 9 o'clock here, so like everything's closed, and I have the worst headache today. Well, no, I don't have a headache. I'm feeling better, right? I can't, see, even I have to catch myself. My head for a second was like pounding, and then I was like, okay, I can stay in the story of my head pounding, or I can believe it just went away. Could be because I'm hungry. Maybe I'm hangry. Okay, what was the book, LOA book? Okay, we already talked about that. That is a great book. Feeling is the Secret talks about states. I think that's a good one too. Yeah, Feeling is the Secret talks about states. So does Faith is Your Fortune. I mean, all of Neville's books pretty much talk about how to live in the state, but it's not going to be in today's words, right? It's more in Neville speak. I call it Neville speak, but you get to a point where you're so used to listen. Here's the thing. You know who's really good to listen to if you don't want to read the book? Listen to Brian Scott. He's like read like pretty much every Neville Goddard book. And you could just listen to him like on a slower module or whatever. That would probably help. So, and I think he gives commentary too sometimes. Like I don't do those type of videos. I've thought about doing it. I'm thinking about doing maybe the magic book with you guys because I love that book and I think it's amazing and maybe I could do like one video a day about it. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do. Just got to get a little bit more organized, but that's a belief too, right? So, all right. I've not been reacting and it's helped me. I'm using blanket affirmations are amazing, by the way. They are. Like, my life is perfect. Everything's working out for me. I have the perfect life. Think about it. I have my ideal relationship. That like, why not make manifestation easier for you? Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I have amazing communication. Like, they're up my ass 24/7. They're obsessed with me. No, like, that's too much work. I have the ideal version of my partner. We're insanely happily married and crazy in love and can't keep our hands off each other. We're always banging and I have the most beautiful life I could have ever imagined. And I always think to myself, oh my God, like it turned out so much better than I could have ever imagined. What does that imply? You got everything. I'm a lazy manifester. I don't want to have to think a million things. But here's the thing, if you want to change more than one area of your life, you'd have to apply that to different areas of your life. And if you have certain beliefs you feel that are comfortable, I don't even want to say predominant because they're only predominant because you think they are. They're only comfortable because you think they are, and they're only like you're holding on to them because it's like comfort for you and it gives you a feeling of like security. You know, you just gotta just believe. You gotta just start becoming. And here's the thing too, some people have resistance when they're changing, so they'll think like, okay, if I'm maybe like saying like I know I'm the God of my reality, like triggers you. You just say, I know I am now becoming the God of my reality. I am now becoming the person that things flow to easily. Or I'm starting to. You can always use the word starting to or becoming. Like I think that's fine. Or I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to have faith. I'm starting to see change, right? You could do that as well. All right. Did Neville Goddard actually discuss manifesting an SP? He talked about how he manifested his wife. That's manifesting an SP. Josiah Brandt is good too. He's got like a slower voice and he repeats himself. It depends on what type of style you like. But yeah, Josiah does a great job. And he does have a very soothing voice. I love listening to Josiah, but if I'm like too tired, I'll fall asleep. That's how soothing the guy is. Okay. Oh, I'm lazy too. Who isn't lazy? All right. All right, I'm lazy too as of late. I'm just like, it's done. That's awesome. That is so awesome. So is there anything else you guys want to ask about before I let you go for the evening? And remember, I will be doing this again next week, same time. We need to make this like, I kind of want to like make a theme party every week. Like manifesting more peace in your life is always wonderful. Oh, I have an update. That one girl from a few weeks ago that was having trouble with her SP manifested him and they're back together, even though he told her, I have to commit to my family. I don't know if you guys were here for that, but I can't wait to share that success story. And she never actually coached with me. I coached her on a live. And now they're getting back together. And my TV is, I was watching Cleopatra earlier.
So upon his death, Cleopatra now has virtually a crisis on her hands.
Netflix has a new Cleopatra series on.
Crisis on her hands.
And I don't even know why I did that. That's so weird. Okay. All right. All right. Let me see the rest of this before I go I don't hear that. I like watching documentaries on like history sometimes. So Gregory, don't even worry about it. I'll be here next week. Like, and I'll probably be doing a live on TikTok on Saturday. And I'll plan one for Instagram. I want to let you guys know ahead of time so you know, like, okay, Maria's going to be on Instagram on this day. Maria's going to be on TikTok on this day. So I don't just pop up. Sometimes pop-up lives are more wonderful, but I think it's better to plan. I was trying to say, Gregory, don't worry. I'll be here next week. So every Monday, just remember, I'm always going to do a live on YouTube. I might even start doing them twice a week. Maybe I'll start doing them like on Mondays and Wednesdays or something. I can't Tuesdays and Thursdays right now, but I'll start doing more lives. So about dating, Maria, like, I don't want to lift a finger. You don't have to. You might have to. Here's the thing. You might have to leave your house. Unless you can believe that you can manifest someone to come into your fucking couch. Some people have done that. I don't remember who it was. Who told me this story? It was a long time ago, but there was a person that didn't want to leave their couch and they ended up meeting their SP because of like their roommate or something. Like, it was crazy. Like, they're like, they had the belief that they would come to them and they did. Like, they had to come to their house for some reason. I don't remember how it happened, but it was the funniest story. I either saw it in a video or someone had mentioned it, but you can. Oh. And Chip's getting anxious or getting annoyed with himself. Will I be doing any more lives on TikTok? I will. I'll do one this week and then I'll plan one. I'll start planning them because you can plan them on TikTok. So that way you know to expect me. Look for either Friday or Saturday this week. I'll do one. Probably, I'm thinking Saturday. You met your SP at work. That's awesome. Anything and everything is possible. Absolutely. Anything and everything definitely is possible. I need you to stop thinking that anything can get in the way because it can't. Nothing is impossible. You can literally manifest your dream life and don't worry about it. Hey, can I manifest white pale skin? Of course you can. Why don't you just manifest lighter skin? Here's the thing. If you think it's impossible and you don't think, like, always do it kind of like in baby steps if you have resistance towards it. That always tends to help people more. I'm just wondering if that's ever happened to anyone. I'm confused, Floor. What do you mean? You like I didn't see that one. Oh, like white pale skin? You're going to have to remember. I can't see your above comment unless I go like really up. I can't wait for the new lives. Aw, thanks, Pranav. It's been a while. I hope everything with you is going well. Drakery, nothing in my way. Good. The only thing stopping you is you. Facts on that. Hey, can I become a 6 foot tall? You can change any, like, there is no, can I do this? Yes. The answer is always yes. Okay. Like, if you have to think, like, can I ask Maria this? The answer is always going to be yes. I had a question at the top. Floor, can you rewrite it? Hold on. So the last one I saw was, I don't see your question, Maria, lately. I haven't let go of my desires. I'm just not really caring for them anymore. Oh, you're not caring for your desires. That's okay. If you're not caring for them, maybe you shifted out of the reality where you don't want it anymore. That's fine. Not caring about your desires, it either means it's about to come in, or maybe you just don't want it anymore. It could be one or the other. Usually people see really good success after they believe that, or like after they start feeling that, like they feel like really detached from it. Usually it's about to come in. If you're busy doing something else, in your reality, you'll get so busy that you can't even think about your manifestation, or you'll just get so disinterested. That's usually what happens, and people usually have huge breakthroughs, meaning like it just pops out of nowhere and you're like, what? Like, now? It can be a little strange, but that's usually because people have dropped all resistance. And the truth is, even if it's not that, who gives a fuck? Just believe that. You know what I mean? It's serving you anyway, so you've got nothing to lose. Well, I don't even want to say you got nothing to lose. You got all to win, right? So persistent beliefs that will help you win. Persistent beliefs that will help you win. I don't even want to say you got nothing to lose. You got everything to win by creating beliefs that work for you. All right, everybody, I'm going to let you go. It's that time of night. I kind of have a headache. It's still there a little bit, but I'll be feeling better shortly. I will see you all next week at 8 p.m. Would an earlier time work better for everybody? I feel like this is too late. I feel like I need to do like a 7 o'clock or like a 9 o'clock. Hi, Jackie. I'm still on, but I'm jumping off in a minute. Oh my God, it's been so... Some of y'all I haven't seen in so long. It's really nice to see you. Would 7 o'clock work better, you think? Like a 7:30 or 7 o'clock? Everyone says 8. My new affirmation, I have everything to win. Love you, Maria. Love you, Floor. You don't have a headache. No, I don't. My headache's actually starting to feel better. Whoever revised for me, thank you. Later, actually, for me, so I made chat. Okay. All right, we'll see. Yeah, I like 8 o'clock. You do? Okay, we'll keep it at 8 o'clock for now. I think I'm going to do one a week, though, where it's like earlier, like 10 a.m. or something, like on the weekend would be good to get like everybody in Europe. Because I've had a couple of people message me like, can you do it a little earlier? 7 works better, but 8 is okay. Night owl over here. Past tense affirmations work. Oh, hell yeah, past tense affirmations work. Like, it's already mine. It's done. We've been in a relationship. That's pretty much like revision. Yeah, it does. Because it implies you already have it. Hello. Dude, even saying like, it's coming, it's starting is okay too. Doesn't mean you're not going to get your manifestation. You don't want to say like, I will eventually get it. Or maybe one day. No. Like, I'm starting to see movement. We're starting to talk. That's fine, right? Either imply that the change is happening or imply that it's happened now or just imply that it's already done. Oh, we got back together months ago. You can even believe that about your SP. We've been back together for 6 months. We've been together this entire time. Like, you can, it's your reality. You can do whatever the hell you want. I think a weekend morning would work really well. Thinking maybe like a Saturday. All right, much love to you all. Remember, if you ever have questions, always ask them in the videos and be prepared for some new videos this week. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys next week.